Let us proceed to our second plenary section on DNS Industry Outlook. The moderator for this section is Engineer Wilson Wong. Engineer Wilson Wong is the Chief Executive Officer of Hong Kong Internet Registration Corporation Limited, HKIRC, and he is responsible at the highest level for furthering HKIRC's mission to promote .hk domain and Hong Kong as an international center of e-commerce and to encourage a better understanding and more effective use of the internet and related technology in Hong Kong and across the region. Let us welcome Engineer Wilson Wong. And then may I introduce our panelists. We have Mr. Arnu Jain, who is joining us online, CEO and Director of National Internet Exchange of India, NIXI, a part of Ministry of Electronics and IT, Government of India. Hello, Mr. Arnu Jain. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. May I also invite other panelists on stage. We have Ms. Sophia Fong, Deputy General Manager, Internet Domain Name System, Beijing Engineering Research Center LLC, ZDNS. She led the construction and operation of the largest cloud service platform for new GTLDs in Asia. Welcome, Sophia. Next, may I invite Mr. Hiro Hotta, a board member and also Senior Executive Vice President of JPRS, which runs .jp CCTLD. He has over 20 years of experience in domain name industry and is currently responsible for business planning and stakeholder communication of JPRS. Welcome, Mr. Hiro Hotta. And then may I invite Mr. Sun Zhao, Head of the Registry Business Department, CNNIC. He has devoted himself in .cn/ccTLD and Chinese domain names related work since joining CNNIC in the year of 2000. He has accumulated rich experience in registry management of domain names business and has established a long-term cooperative partnership with Chinese registrars and registries. Welcome, Mr. Sun Zhao. With all our guests on stage, please take your seats. Thank you. In this section, we welcome questions from the audience and encourage interaction. Please feel free to sign into Zoom and leave your question into the Q&A pod. In the following, Wilson will firstly make an introductory speech, and then he will invite our panelists to give their presentation. Now let me pass the floor to Wilson, please.
So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to welcome all to join this section, DNS Outlook. DNS is a proven technology for a long time. It played a very critical role in the internet. However, recent years, we have seen a lot of changes. Just like the previous section, we talked about the new technology and also the internet user using the number of users because of pandemic drive, the digital transformation, and also the cyber security issue. So this situation are changing the way we use the internet and also the challenge of DNS infrastructure. So what is the role of DNS in the future? So we still need the DNS, or we should ensure our DNS system is ready for the changes. So in this discussion, we'll explore this question and we'll discuss the opportunity and challenge of DNS. So, without further delay, we would like to talk about the first question. So, since we have different people, we have a registrar and registry here, so let's ask the warm-up question. Could you share with us what is your success in your organization to measure? What is the success criteria and what is the success measure? Maybe lady first.
As a representative of ZDNS, ZDNS in the domain name industry ecosystem, we act as a registry service provider and also called a backend service provider. We also a registry, we're managing 2 TLDs. And we also a brand registrar. And also we manage management DNS and recursive DNS total solutions to our clients. So it's to this question, it's hard to actually identify all the factors that will define the success of our organization, because we offer from different angles and different identities. But I think as a registry backend service provider, the security resilience of our services and from the policy side and political side, from the policy side, technical side of the expertise that we can offer to clients as defined the success of a registry service provider. And as a registry, the success of the TLD operations would define the success. And there is a different metrics, a different criteria, such as the registration rate, the renewal rates, and also the usage of the websites under the TLDs, and also the brand image of the TLDs. Because I believe that building a TLD registry is actually building a brand. You need to have a healthy image of the brand, and that means you need to deal with the abuse actively. You need to make the registration sustainable and avoiding frauds in your TLD namespace as much as possible, to work with all the industry players to make sure it's a secure and a sounded brand TLD. And with the management DNS and recursive DNS, we serve a lot of big corporates in China and also abroad. And I believe that be able to define the actual needs and solving the actual pinpoint from the customers, and also building the solution that make sure their DNS infrastructure is secure and their DNS usage is resilient. That's the most important as a DNS service providers, because at the moment, I think the internet, in the internet era, that we already pathing into a time of security. Security is the most important in a lot of organizations. It's their main concern. So I think that's my understanding of the different criteria as successful organization as you act as a different types of service providers. Yeah, thank you.
So does it work? Yes. Thank you. My name is Hiro Hota from .jp CCTLD registry for Japan. The definition of success of ours is just the same as yours. Thank you. So, as a CCTLD registry, our customers are not only the restaurants, but also the registrars, and maybe and internet users are also our customers, of course, because they use the .jp domain names. So, and the aspect of success is, for the restaurants, they need to use actually as they wished. So not only the domain name, number of domain names registered, but also the more important thing is the actual use as wished of domain names. I think that's the best, or that's the most important aspect of the success of, as a viewpoint of registry. For the registrar, of course, efficiency and comfort in dealing with domain names while doing their core business, such as web hosting or something, and registrar business. So that's another aspect of success from the viewpoint of registries. And for the internet users, they need to access the internet safely and efficiently. So literacy in the internet and domain names, raising their literacy is very important. And so for the end users, the literacy is a success aspect. So we think that for each kind of customers, we need some definition of success. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Sun Zhao from CNIC. You know, CNIC is the registry for DOCN, Chinese CCTLD. For DOCN, we think besides the domain name registration volume, we think the domain name applications, market share, and the usage of DOCN domain name by important websites is also very important for us. You know, we often check how many websites are using DOCN in China mainland. You know, there is more than 4 million websites in China mainland. So what we care about is how many websites are using DOCN. And also we checked in the important industry how many websites is using DOCN, like such as bank industry or government and also education. So we think the important website using DOCN is a good case for us to promote and to let the small enterprise knows what kind of domain name they should choose. Okay.
Thank you. Then, Adele, how about your
Thank you.
pronunciation?
Thank you, Wilson. Good morning to Hong Kong. And first of all, my apology for not being able to present in person among all of you. Question is really good question. You know, from a commercial point of view, yes, the numbers speaks about the success. We are already 3.5 million CCTLD domains in the country. Probably we are in the first 10 in the world. Another factor which always goes is the revenue. How much revenue you are able to get, and what is the increment in the revenue every year you are getting. So I'm very happy to share with you that the revenue which we are crossing is almost 20% growth every year. In addition to this, I think what my other panelists have said, the brand plays a very important role. I am very happy to inform that an independent survey revealed that .in, the CCTLD of India, is the 7th most popular brand globally. So that gives us a happiness. Now, another important thing is that adoption of .in in the geographical areas. So we look at whether the domain CCTLD is adopted by urban, semi-urban and rural population also. So if it is adopted across the country, then it is a great success which you can say. In addition to this, one more important thing which we always value is adoption of domain in non-English speaking population. So India, with more than 82% of the population who do not converse in English, this particular aspect is very important. So more than 50,000 IDN domains are already in place with the customer, which gives a large number of satisfaction to .in. India believes in delivering an open, safe and trusted and accountable internet to the people of India. Now, when we talk about open, it also includes inclusive internet. So we believe that CCTLD should be able to help the broadband provider to reach to the last man in the society. We are also working on accountability. This is related to the contents on various applications and social media. So this is an important aspect which brings a trust and safety and a belief in the internet as a total. What my other panelists has said, a latency in resolution of the queries is important, which brings a happiness among the people and the time it takes to resolve a query. And this is related to, of course, DNS. And as I said that we are believing in safe and trusted internet, we believe that if the minimum number of DNS abuses or misinformation or disconnect are reported from the people, then it is really a good honor. I just want to inform the audience here that India has already crossed around 860 million broadband users till date, and it is growing regularly. We hope that by next year we should cross 100,000, means 1 billion broadband users in the country. So if the number of broadband users are increasing, it gives a confidence that people are adopting domain, people are adopting all the infrastructure which is provided for the internet. So these are the factors which I personally feel is important. And lastly, .in is basically, or CCTLD or GTLD are normally, promoted by the web developers. If a CCTLD is preferred by the web developers, then you feel that yes, it is a brand which is accepted by the people, which is really liked by the people. So these are the factors which I personally feel are important for success in India. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I think it's good sharing. So to conclude, the adoption, the growth, the renewable business continuity and security is the key for the success. So question to Anil, to you, because the NIXI is a little bit different to other panel speakers, because you're involved in the internet exchange for a long time and one of the biggest internet exchange around the world. And then you also provide the domain name service, DNS and registry service. So could you share with us any insight about the cybersecurity for DNS? Because I believe that the internet exchange will have a lot of insight about the cybersecurity. And also, do you have any sharing or insight to us that should we work closely with the local internet exchange company so that we can have more insight and more security information? I know that you have a presentation on that. Could you share with us?
Yes. Can we get the presentation, please? Thank you. Next slide. So if we talk about DNS performance, what normally I'll just take a few minutes only to recapitulate the DNS, because you must be discussing this yesterday also in detail. So first, of course, is the response time. Whenever anybody is putting a query, how fast the query is responded. And we know that DNS is built up on various steps with various servers, and how fast the customer is able to get this queries that is what we are looking at. Then we are also looking at what is the time to live accuracy of the resolution. If the resolution is reaching to the right website, right email, right app, then yes, we can understand that DNS is working well. And of course, how much queries are getting a success rate. So these are what we are looking at for the DNS when we are preparing the DNS. But the outcome of this will be how user perceive the DNS is working and how they feel confident about using this particular DNS. And then how much trust people are able to build up in the entire DNS system. Next slide, please. So this is what normally we look at, what is happening as the threat which are reported virtually every day. I just want to inform you that an organization in India is being attacked on an average 2,042 times per week in the last 6 months, as compared to 1,211 attacks per organization globally. So basically, these threats are increasing as the number of broadband users are increasing and number of CCTLDs are increasing or domains are increasing. So the normal type of threats which are being faced by Indian customers are DDoS attacks, DNS hijacking, and cache poisoning. Because now most of the big content delivery networks are putting cache in the system. And the mitigation which we are working on this, we are promoting more and more internet exchange users and also the registrar to adopt the DNSSEC. We are also working at the national level for DNS threat intelligence. And we are sharing this information of DNS threats with various organizations to minimize the DNS problems. And the basic objective on which we are working is to improve incident response time. The moment an incident is reported, then how fast we are able to attack on it. Next slide, please. Now let us look at what is happening in the India. Several important websites which are public facing and which are government websites are being attacked and are being compromised. So we have given only few selected one here. In 2009, the major attacks were at Air India, NDTV and Paytm. Now in all the cases, you have seen that website was defaced, customer data is stolen, and in case of NDTV, a malware was also introduced. In 2020, Indian Railway, which is one of the biggest railway of the world, the website was defaced, train schedules were disrupted, and a lot of trains were stopped because of misinformation. Flipkart, which is a very important e-commerce website, again had the website defaced and customer data stolen. SBI, which is one of the biggest financial bank in India, again the same thing. And the last which we faced at the All India Institute of Medical Science, where millions of patients come every day. So website was defaced and we were out of service for almost 5 days. So because India has a population which is 1,400 millions, with every attack, millions get affected. And it is reported, knowingly, unknowingly, that hundreds of millions of dollars were paid in ransom also. And the biggest impact, which I personally feel is in DNS attacks, is the trust in internet users. It is sometimes losing. They have a fear whether when we are touching a mobile phone, a mobile app, or reaching to a website, are we safe? Next slide, please. We are working on this particular mantra, saying that if we have to mitigate and minimize the DNS attacks, and yesterday also in the session, it is very clearly said that it is not possible to stop DNS attacks or DNS abuse, but we can minimize it. So I think it is very, very important that we should be able to collaborate. Who should collaborate? The DNS operators, registries like NIXI, registrars together, RIRs and NIRs, to ensure that the DNS is safe from IPv4 and IPv6, and also the security agencies or lawful enforcement agencies. Because if they share information and the best practices, I think adoption not only within a country but outside the country can also improve. Next slide, please. Now, if we talk about what we are doing, first of all, we are taking a spam house report on daily basis, and we are sharing this spam house report with every registrar. And we are asking registrar to act on those reported domains which are not good. Now, in this particular case, we are also working on now putting the registrars in the grey list in case the registrar consistently is not working on the report of the spam house. We are conducting awareness and training. For example, for internet exchange ISPs, we are conducting a training on every fortnightly basis. And with the registrars, we are conducting a training on monthly basis. Now, in this training, we are sharing the best practices. We are also discussing the issues which are faced by an individual in ISP or a registrar, and we are giving solutions to them. We are also telling what action NIXI is taking for the best practices. NIXI has also prepared an anti-abuse policy which is available on the NIXI website, which tell that in case of any abuse to any individual, customer or a ISP or a registrar, what recourses are available for them and how the nation can help. I think this is the most important thing which I want to share with all the audience today is that NIXI has introduced a eKYC for registration of a domain. eKYC, we have a citizen card, 16-digit number of a citizen card, and the registrars are feeding this 16-digit card and numbers, and then getting complete information from the central government website about the person who is going to become a registrant. And this is a quite success things which are happening. In addition to this, we are also undertaking re-verification of the who is retail on sample basis, that we collect around 5% to 10% of the registration on daily basis and do the re-verification. And then we report back to the registrar about the doubtful cases. So this is helping us in mitigating the abuses and possible threats. At the organization level, we are going to be very active in the APAC DNS forum in future that we have decided and we have communicated to the organizers. We have set up a Center of Excellence of DNS and DNS Security at CDAC, which is a very important virtually on daily basis on this. And we are part of the DAR of the ICANN, and we are getting a monthly report and we are working on this. So these are the efforts which NIXI is doing, and these are the results which we have. The best practices which NIXI is having is that in internet exchange points, ISPs are on the board of directors of NIXI. All exchanges which are there, 77 exchanges are there with NIXI today. They are all connected on these lines. We are providing a DNS training to all our ISP friends, and we are also supporting them in case there is any DNS threats or any configuration issues with the ISPs. And similar best practices we are doing with the registrar. Registrars are on the advisory level of NIXI, and we have a WhatsApp group of registrars which we work on minute-to-minute basis in case there are any issues which are there. And as far as marketing programs are concerned, we definitely take advice and consultancy from the registrars. So this is how the collaboration of all our partners are there to ensure that we provide a open, safe and trusted and accountable internet to the people of India. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Very comprehensive and detailed sharing. I guess most of us get a lot of good point here to see how to review our current system. So last question, I will go back to CNX, China. China is one of the top adopter for international domain name globally. So could you share with us what is the advantage for the higher IDN penetration for the drive the business and also the DNS business? And also in China, how the user can leverage this high IDN to support their online presence in China market?
Okay. At the present, more than 30 registries, more than 30 Chinese IDNs are in operation in China mainland. More registries for Chinese IDNs brings more motivation for Chinese IDNs. In recent years, all the registries of China IDNs has been actively promoting the application and the development of Chinese IDNs and work hard for the promotion and the diversity of Chinese domain names. You know, the promotion of Chinese IDNs is different from the traditional ASK2 domain names. For traditional ASK2 domain names, the promotion is mostly through visual diversity and channel marketing, and to attract users to register online. But for Chinese IDNs, it requires more user educations and more communication with users. So the sales for Chinese IDNs is mostly through face-to-face or phone sales. So for the current situation, Chinese domain IDNs has become a segmented field in the domain name industry in China mainland. I think maybe the income for the registries and registrars for Chinese IDNs is now bigger than the traditional ASK2 domain names, because the Chinese IDN's price is much higher than traditional ASK2 domain names. So I think now Chinese IDNs is an important part for the domain name industry in China mainland. And for the enterprise and the organizations who used Chinese IDNs, I think they often use the Chinese domain names on their advertising and their promotions, because the Chinese IDNs is easy to remember for Chinese, and also is totally the same with their name of companies and organizations. That's how to use the Chinese IDNs, I think.
So thank you. So then back to Hotta-san. So in the beginning, we talked about the success. One of them is a beautiful way and the domain number. So as my study, the .jp is one of the highest growth in terms of domain name for last few years, because most of CCTLD encountered the challenges, not much growth last few years. But Japan still have a very positive growth in last few years. So what is the reason and what is the strategy? And then we found that another case is in Japan, the very strict registration requirement, such as a document, other thing. But it seems this kind of restriction didn't stop the domain name growth. Could you share the secret on them so that we can follow your strategy and replicate the success in other countries?
Thank you, Wilson. I prepared a slide deck for this. So could you put up my slides here? Yes, thank you. This is the first page, and yes, this is the answer for the first question Wilson gave me. So, what is successful to JPN? I said that we have typically three kinds of customers: restaurant, internet users, and the most important thing is actual use of domain names, which is the most important one. We pursue this absolute number and ratio to be the highest one. This is our success criteria. And this is the JP status by numbers. The number of registration is 1.7 million. It's not so big because the population is 1.3, I'm sorry, 130 million in Japan, so only 1.some% for this, right? And percentage of resolvable domains, this is one of the measures how successful we are. So we remain 91 or 92% of the name server setting of all the domain name, JP domain names registered. So I think this is higher than that, higher than other TLDs. And those name servers are not for the parking, or not for something. So the real web page or real mail servers uses this domain name. This is very important, we think. And of course, the availability of JP DNS, 100%, as everyone says. And number of restaurants, this is a kind of a unique figure, I think. Over 500 restaurants we have for only 1.3 or 1.7 million domain names. A large number of restaurants we have. So why? So and this is the surrounding trend for domain names. Maybe you learned a lot from yesterday and today, and of course, you learn every day that the value of CC-TLD domain names or value of any TLD domain names may dilute under the increasing number and variation of TLDs. However, CC-TLDs can be specialized and differentiated by reflecting the features of their designated countries' territories. In case of the JP, Japan. So how can we use the characteristics of Japanese market? That's what we have to think about as a CCTLD registry. Of course, the policies of CCTLD registries can be defined by respective CCTLD registry or manager. So as Wilson said, that the JP has a kind of very restricted policy that only Japanese resident and Japanese companies or organizations can register .jp domain names. So that may shrink the volume of .jp domain names, but 1.7 million is, we think it's okay. It's, for example, .com domain names in Japan has around 4 or 5 million. So they are bigger than our market, but many of them are not actually used or maliciously used. So 1.7 million.jp is not a bad number, we think. At least I think, right? And the second one is under increasing invisibility of domain names due to richer applications and software, as you know. Yes, social network systems, and of course, Google's and something like that. So, however, basic applications such as email, web, and so on will survive for universal and global communication on a flat environment, as everybody said, as John said. Okay. And keys to success in case of the JP. So I have 2 slides for this. Making JP domain names always safely resolvable. As Anil said, that the safely resolvable is one of the key things that the domain names are actually used or not. So identification of domain registrants is assured because it's limited to Japanese registrants. It's easier than verify they are really existent, or they are really them that who is domain name holder says. So, and domain names are normally linked to name servers. Number of DNS queries per domain has been increased double in 10 years. So each domain name is used more and more every day. And JPDNS is 100% up and running, of course. And this is the next one is a unique one for our company. Root DNS, we operate mRoot DNS. Root DNS is on top of TLD DNS. So if we don't have TLD DNS operating, .jp cannot be resolved. So root DNS is very important for us to live, to survive. So root DNS is operated by us as well. We earn no money from this, but we do this mainly because to keep JPDNS up and running, to be used, to be available. And the next one is, this is also important and maybe unique. As a registry, we inform DNS operators in Japan about how to mitigate DNS vulnerabilities whenever they are found and announced. We educate all the Japanese DNS operators how to mitigate DNS vulnerabilities. So to resolve the domain names, it's a kind of supply chain. Resolver and authoritative DNS servers. So authoritative name servers has a hierarchy, and all of the DNS should work safely. So how to do that? How to get that situation? So for this, we have a kind of responsibility for the resolver side to be up and running in that safe mode. So we inform DNS operators in Japan about how to mitigate DNS vulnerabilities. We earn no money again from here. And we educate the community, including kids, how the internet and domain names work. This is also important because they will be the real user of the domain name of the internet. And they need to know how domain names can be a bad one. It can be a good one. So we educate this. earning no money. Okay. So keys to success in the case of the JP. This is the first slide. And second one is specialization in Japanese market. Restaurants and restaurants must have local presence in Japan, as I said. Local presence requirement works positively because we validate and verify they are really existent or not, something. And qualification checks such as COJP. COJP means a company in Japan. Restaurant is a legally registered company in Japan using the governmental database. And then aligning to Japanese laws, regulations, and business practices. Maybe the Japanese business practices are somewhat different from other countries' one. So we can focus on Japanese business practice because our restaurants must be a Japanese company. Maybe this is very restricted, but it's a good way to be secured. At least currently we believe so. And Japanese is the official language, so if we use English, it is not easy to communicate 100%. As I'm not a good English speaker. So Japanese official language for the domain name registration policy and business communication or something like that. And the last one is also interesting. Physical visit to most registrars' offices physically with some souvenirs to discuss how to increase their loyalty. Good. And as I said, we have around about 500 registrars. Our sales division, we have sales division. Our sales division staffs are very busy in visiting most of the restaurants. So, I can skip this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Then it's good to remind us not only using the internet, we better pay some site visit to our customer. So back to the discussion to some challenge. So I would like to ask a question to Sophia. So ZDNS is one of the large domain name player in China. So recently we can see some just like Web3 domain, and also previously we have some social media, all those things co-impacting about the domain name business. So what do you see the future and this kind of new technology impact to domain name and DNS?
Thank you, Wilson. Thank you, Wilson. This is a very interesting question, I think. A lot of, as industry, we talk to a lot of counterparts, and everybody is asking the same question. What is impacts of Web3? And I just, outside of the venue, I just asked Mr. Huang, haven't seen it for 3 years, and I'm asking, what do you think about Web3 impacts on the domain industry? And he's like, wow, a lot of people are looking to buy a new TLD. And a lot of Web3 companies actually are looking for a TLD to buy in the industry. And that's, and then, so different people have a different opinion, so different reactions, right? Domainers probably would like that. And then as we are companies working in the industry and on the basic, we worry about what all the new technology on all the applications will impact the industry. And personally, and I think ZDNS is very strong belief on the importance of DNS in the internet. Maybe for next 50 years. We still have very strong belief of 50 to 100 years, who knows? But we have strong belief that importance will still remains and exist and strengthen. And why is that? because let's go back to the origin of the DNS system or the internet structures. The 3 layers in the internet structures, as we defined and talked to a lot of, folks outside of the industry. I think the first layer in the ground will be the physical infrastructures like 5G, IPv6, right? Internet of Things. And this the physical infrastructure that was building all the softwares, carries all the softwares and usage. And then there was the top layer will be all the apps. So all the applications. I think that carries a different, like the TikTok, Facebook, and all the different usage that was in the top layer. And the middle layer is the DNS system, right? The DNS, the routing system. And I think that's defined it as the navigating system of internets. You need navigators to go anywhere. You can't go anywhere without it. So that's how ZDNS view, right? Let's go as a region of how internet is used. And if you see all the technology, all the new concept, on all the new applications, including Web3, including now the ChatGPT, right? The AI technology, and also industrial internet of industrial. And in China, we have new concept every month, or every quarter, or every year. People want to create new industry, a new business. It's a very robust economic system. But then all these apps and all this infrastructure cannot live without DNS. That's how we, educate the market and how we bring awarenesses of the markets, the importance of DNS. And what ZDNS is doing right now is we brought it. It's not we created, but we trying to define the DNS to be able to capture the new trends in the industry and in the economy. The original DNS was very simple, right? It's more about technology. And then the next generation of DNS, we need to define the next generation DNS to be able to talk to the same languages of all the folks in the markets and in the new technology world. And the DNS we define are divided by 3 parts. Let's take DNS, right? D stands for domain. And then, as we understand domain, we need to build internet that is internet governance. So all the related security issues and internet governance issues and standards are within that region. So that's how we define domain. And name, domain name, right? Name is actually resources. So second level domain resources, top level resources, those resources are very important to the companies and individuals. We need to encourage people still to actively participate in to apply for those digital assets and also digital brands. So that's on the namespace. And last with S is a system. So the system is what's supporting all the domains and names usage, right? So on that, in the system part, we need to provide more secure and more sufficient, more resilience system to support the usage of names and the governance of domains. So we basically defined next generation DNS within China that is actually cope with the how the technical world is involved and also how the market is involved. So my understanding is more about how we can be out and be outreached and educating people the navigating system is matters. And that I think with the collaborative effort from the industry, we need to do it together. Because it's a very fractional world. You know, I mean, with TikTok, you have 5 seconds intention of watching a video. So we need to be out and, you know, be out and educating the market and grab the attentions and let people know that, you know, what the industry is doing. So I think it's not about, like I also, it's not about AI that make you lose your job. It's how you use AI, right? So it's not all the new applications and new technologies, how you cope with them. That's my understanding. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. It's good to know we still have a good future, and coming 20 years, we still have a lot of ICANN event in the future. Okay, then because we don't have much time, so let's ask some questions from the floor. Okay, maybe I ask some online questions first. One of them is, how can your organization leverage DNS data and analytics to get the insight into the network performance, security performance, and user behavior? Do you have any potential use case about that can share with us? Do you have any DNS analytics so that you can have some insight can share with us on that?
Okay, maybe I can share some things, some works we have done in Scenic. We checked all the .cn domain name every week to find all the websites using .cn domain name, and we will check the content of the websites, so we can find the illegal websites by ourselves. So if we find the illegal website, we will shut down it directly. So it's not the order by government or legal department, but we think we should do something to make all the .cn name is safe for all the users. Okay, and we have cooperations with banks and e-commerce websites to shut down phishing websites. We have do this since 2008, and we have shut down more than 400,000 phishing websites. So we need the, for example, Taobao, a big e-commerce website in China. If he finds some phishing website similar to Taobao, he can send the website to us. If we confirm the website is a phishing website, we will shut down it directly. Okay, so that's what we have done in Scenic.
So, any other comment?
So with the data and analytics, because we have a lot of recursive and management DNS data, not just the registry data, and to supporting my statement before, with ICBC, like the bank we work with, is the biggest bank in the world at the moment, I think. Every second, they have 300,000 transactions happens with the DNS. And then every day, they will have 3 billion transactions happens every day. So that's how important with their online bankings. And that transactions and that analytics are captured in our recursive DNS total solutions. So with all this data, we'll be able to actually find out what is the best Anycast system for them to to CDN, with the CDNs and also with the DNS card system, be able to distributing the traffic, be able to make sure that transactions going smoothly. And then secondly, there was DNS attacks every day, right? We talk a lot about DNS abuse, but actually whether DNS attack is part of the DNS abuse was, some people have different opinion, but I think DNS attacks right now is very strong issues within the big corporates. And what DNS is doing right now, we offers recursive management DNS with safeguard software. What is safeguard? The safeguard software has databases from different security companies. And when we detected the DNS attack in the recursive servers, we'll be able to reject the visit, first of all. And if there is attacks happens that was not be detected by our software, that means the attacks happens, they will result in a downturn on the DNS server of the bank. What we do is we have actually recursive data as a backup every seconds in our software. And what happened is it will reduce the downtime from the bank. We have a previous case actually just happened a few months ago. There was a bank actually have a DNS attack, was supposed to be down for three hours. And what happens with the safeguard is it shortened the attack time, and then it was the data was restored, and the servers were back on track within half an hour. So that I don't think you can avoid all the DNS attacks by data analytics. So, I mean, that's the ideal way because we want to be 100% safe, but that's impossible. Because there were always new ways of doing attacks, and that you can't avoid it all. But what happened? The second solution is to use data analytics and also all the backup solutions, be able to avoid the downturn is too long, okay, to reduce the damage. So I think there's a lot of data in different layers in the DNS assistance, and we can do a lot with it. We can create new business, to create new products, and new services, and to meet the needs of the corporates. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. So let's see any question from on-site. Any people would like to have a question to the speaker? Then maybe I ask another question from online. So, but this is maybe a bit technical, but I just see whether you can answer. So one question is, we have a DNS and also have a ENS, so the Web3 basis domain name system. So the question is, do you think the DNS and ENS will combine in the future? And also, as you see that some of domain now can support both ENS and DNS. Do you think this is the trend of the development of domain, or you have another thinking?
Sorry, I couldn't catch your question. The DNS and
ENS, Ethereum's domain name service.
Okay. I don't have any answer.
So maybe this one is too technical for our speaker. So maybe another question. So in the past we have some technology just like the CDN and also the AnyCard service, generated by the DNS service. But do you think any other DNS technology will generate from the DNS server? For example, because in the past we don't have a CDN, but because of more popular in internet, so we have a CDN. Then in the past we don't need any cards because we don't have DDoS, this kind of service. But the question is, do you see any new technology will be generated by the DNS server.
Thank you, Wilson. I don't have new technologies to be used in the DNS at this moment immediately, but even the Anycast technology, how to use Anycast efficiently and effectively is still under investigation in our organization, because for example, of course we have Anycast instances all over the world, and if we do need to put some node, Anycast node somewhere, so how to define or how to detect where we should put such node? It cannot be determined easily. We need to collect the DNS data all over the world, and we need to assume or predict where, if we put new node here, what will happen. We need to do research about that and something like that. So in our organization, we do just started to research how to and where to put Anycast node efficiently, effectively, because for the DNS service, we don't earn money. So putting many Anycast node is just losing money. So we need to put our node effectively and efficiently. So even Anycast needs is still a kind of new technology to be actually in operation. Thank you.
So thank you. I think the technology is evolving, so it may be difficult to predict the new one. So, okay, because of time, so thank you very much for 4 good speakers to share with us today in different perspectives from the cybersecurity, growth strategy, and also the DNS development. Hope that it can help all of us to plan ahead for our future roadmap in DNS. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Wilson. Thank you, all our panelists. Let us take a photo together. With our guests, please step forward, then step closer, and then please face our official camera. Sorry? So, I'm sorry, there's one more question. We still have time, don't worry.
One. Sorry, interrupting your group photo. And first of all, thank you for sharing your experience and practice about the DNS, how it works, or your home, in country. And I have a question for Mr. Hira. I'm wondering, you have mentioned about identification of the domain name registrant. I mean, owner of the domain name, yeah? And can you share your practice about how do you identify domain name registrant? Can you?
Could you repeat the question?
Sorry. I would like to ask Mr. Hira. He mentioned domain name identification. Verify domain name owner, I mean registrant, and you have mentioned, therefore, may I know how do you identify, verify domain name owner, I mean registrant?
Okay.
Can you share?
Yes. Thank you very much for the question. So, at least when a domain name is applied for registration, at least we check the postal address, whether it's really in Japan or not. so street address and some city name and something like that. And the phone number, yes, we need to check. And especially for organizations such as company or something which is legally registered in the government, we check the registration data which is given to us by the restaurant with the registered data in the government. So we need to check and whether it's matched or not. And it's not matched, we refuse such registration. So we check, yes, one by one check. Thank you.
Okay. So any other question to all of us? Then okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. So once again, let's give another big round of applause to thank our moderator and our panelists. Let's keep the photo taking section. Would you please step closer? Please face our official camera. Thank you so much for your question. It's really a great opportunity for us to exchange our ideas, our insights with our guests. Thank you so much. Please be seated downstage. Thank you.